This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
All right.
All right. That's 28th of July, 2020. 217 Recovery Podcast. My name is Corey Winfield. Joining me in the studio is Marnie List.
Hey there.
I know, it wasn't even sexual, but it just kind of make it sexual.
Yeah, and you chose to put it on the opening, but okay.
Yeah, it's a show open. It's supposed to be. All right. I'm ready.
If you could see me right now, I'm shaking my head at you.
Yeah, she is. She's done with that open, so maybe I'll make a new one. Today has been a tough one for me, and I've been alone a lot today. And to say that I didn't think of drinking is just silly. I thought about it a few times today. The reason why is because I'm feeling uncomfortable. And the reason why I'm feeling uncomfortable is I woke up this morning, I don't know, probably about 5 or 6. And I started thinking about first I was thinking about my Aunt Cindy and my Uncle Ron. And then I started thinking like, man, if I get married one day, I'll invite them to the wedding. And then I started thinking, well, but I won't invite my father because I haven't talked to him in 2 years. And ever since then, I've just been thinking. And I went to the store, and I'm walking through the store, and I'm passing liquor aisles, and I'm like, man, I have the whole day. But again, it just pops in my head, and I'm comfortable in my sobriety right now that I can walk past it today. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's like that tomorrow too. But today I'm strong enough, so good, good. Mm-hmm. And so I got to the car and I was loading the groceries in the back, and it hit me that, maybe I'm being like my father. Like maybe I'm being, well, if you don't want to see me, then F it, don't have to see him, because that's how he is. And I don't know, I need to talk to my mom about it because it's really, really bothering me. And I don't know why. I talked to you about it earlier, Marnie, and, it kind of helped because then I realized, wait a minute, like what happened with my father and I, he left when I was young and moved to Arizona. We talk every once in a while, but I really missed that father-son relationship growing up. And I went to see him a couple times, like on spring break or something, but I mean, it was never the same when he left. And there's a lot of resentments I have towards that, it's like, how can you leave? You had 2 sons and you left them and you moved to Arizona for who knows what reason. My mom was like, oh, I don't know. And he says, well, it's because the weather is nicer and whatever, man. Like, I don't know. How could you leave 2 sons? And I don't have any kids, but I really want kids. And, to have a son, I think would be just amazing. And my mom wasn't like crazy psycho. Well, I don't know if she's listening or not, but, she wasn't like that crazy ex that was always driving by the house. No, she was moving on with her life, and he had moved on with his and got remarried before my mom did even. So, to say that she was making his life hell, I mean, maybe because he wasn't paying child support, I don't know. He should have manned up and maybe paid some child support. I don't know, but when he moved, it really hurt, and we kind of had that over the phone relationship. I talked to him maybe once a month, just give him the details of how great I'm doing, not really letting him in, to who I really am. I flew out to Arizona. My stepmom, who I was never really close with, but I flew out. She flew me out there for like his 50th birthday party, maybe. And I made him this like CD, because she was like, oh, you can like put music behind it. And then I was like, yeah, and I made it was pretty awesome. I talked to his brothers and they told funny stories about him and went into some of his favorite songs, and it was pretty cool. But that's the closest he's ever gotten to hearing me on the radio. He was in the studio with me once in Fort Smith, and I maybe talked to him or something. I don't remember really too much about it, but that's as close as he's ever come, and especially when I work for our Clear Channel or iHeart, that platform to listen on your app, it was easy. First back in the day, it was online streaming. You'd have to go to the station's website and click, and but having the app, you could listen anywhere, and he never did, and that really bothered me a lot. So when my liver shut down and all that happened in the hospital and I almost died, he didn't come see me, but my stepmom, kind of helped me out a little bit. And he came out, I think, a few months later. And, it was okay. It was just acting like everything's okay. But I don't know. I still resent him for not being there and not fulfilling his responsibility to teach me how to be a man, and that's my expectations, of what a father should do. My stepdad, Mike, great guy. Couldn't ask for a better role model, but we just didn't have that connection of, like, I love Mike, he's a great guy, but it's not the same, and, I don't know, just thinking about that today and, am I like him now? And I don't know, like the text message I sent him, it was in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 8 months before I had my last drink. And it was a pretty bad relapse. And I just decided, you know what, F it. And that's when I was realizing my feelings were causing me to drink, and I thought, I have it figured out now. It's my feelings, and my feelings are making me drink, and that's what I'm doing. I had no idea how to just feel those feelings. I still had to drink with them. So I sent him this text message, just saying, look, when you guys came and you helped me out a little bit financially, that was great, but it felt like you were buying me. Like you're making up for your past mistakes by putting money out there, by buying it and making it okay. And it wasn't okay. And I let him have it. And that text message, I just told him, might have been a few F-bombs in there, and that was it. He sent me a text on my 40th birthday and just said happy birthday. And then that Christmas, I sent him a text saying Merry Christmas, him and my stepmother. I didn't hear anything back from either one of them. And that was the last time I've ever reached out to him. So when I talked to you about it earlier, back to that part of it, it really made me think, okay, well, I didn't say don't ever talk to me again. But I still feel like I don't have to keep the door as closed as I'm keeping it right now. That's where I feel like I'm kind of being like him, like hard-headed, like, because I don't know for a fact, but I assume he's just like, well, don't need him, because my brother did the same thing, but he did it like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. My brother stopped talking to him, my older brother, and they haven't spoke since. And my older brother's like that too, like, nope, F him, done with him, don't need him. And part of me is like, yeah, I really don't. But when things in life happen, marriage, kids, it makes me sad that, he's not going to be around for that.
You don't know that for sure. Well, I mean, if you look at it, what are the possible responses that you could get from reaching out? I mean, you have to look at it that way. You have to be prepared. Like, there are options. I mean, there are different results that you could get from reaching out and what those could be. What may those be?
Well, he could respond like he did when my brother, because that whole mess was my fault, I felt too. But my brother had just left. Like, he went to stay with, like, visit, because my brother lives in LA, and he went to go stay with him on, like, Thanksgiving. And he just got up that next morning and just gone. Didn't say goodbye or nothing. And that really pissed my dad off. So when my dad called to wish me a happy birthday on my 30th, he didn't, because he had the wrong phone number, even though I had given him the right one, and he don't know how to text. So he didn't call me, so I was just like, talk to my brother, and I was like, hey, you talked to Dad, you know, here's some choice words, you know, because he missed my birthday. And so my brother Jerry was like, okay. So when he talked to him, they said, oh yeah, Corey said, beep, beep, beep. And he's like, what? Well, F him, and you know what? I got a bone to pick with you too, you know. And my brother was just like, yeah, okay. You know, like, my dad would take a real defensive position of, well, you know, you shouldn't have talked to me that way. And I can handle him 100 million times better today, obviously, since I'm not drinking, and since I've learned a lot about myself. And I've learned that I don't need that relationship in my life. It's something that I want. And at how much of my pride am I willing to let go? You know, to be the bigger man, to be the bigger person.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you do your part and figure out what it is that you want to say and say it, then that covers that base. And then you have no control over what he'll respond back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have to decide how much, you know, I don't know. It's something that I think, and I've put it on hold for a while. Because I knew that it was nothing that I needed to jump right into when I got out of treatment. But when I was in treatment is when I realized a lot of this, and I put it on hold. Someone told me that, you know, yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to fix in your life, but they don't all have to be right now.
Yeah, I think that was smart.
And that was one of them where I knew, I just kind of, in my mind, I just set it on the shelf up there and like, okay, I know it's there. I know I'm going to need to address it one day, because for me to be 100% honest with myself and to move forward with how I'm feeling and getting to know my feelings and be okay to walk past the liquor store or liquor aisle in Meijer, you know, on a day where I'm really feeling it, you know, I need to take these feelings and I need to manage them and not control them, but just acknowledge them, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. And you said that you knew that you would have to deal with them deal with them one day, and maybe today is one day.
Yeah, maybe not today, but
Right,
probably before the end of this week.
But I think that's wonderful. I think that it's growth, and I think that, I know it's scary because you don't know what kind of response, or if any response you'll get. But, you know, as long as, I mean, the best part about this whole situation is you have only awesome things to say about where you're at today. And none of that can change. None of that will change. And he's going to read those words. He's going to read it and he's going to know it. And how he processes that and how he responds to it, if he does, that's on him. I mean, I can't see a father of responding negatively towards things about you talking about how you're doing great.
Yeah. And in that text, I know I blamed him. Well, not blamed him, but, you know, the hell I put my mom and my stepdad and all my family through, he wasn't there for it. You know, I didn't get to put him through anything. I think that was kind of like maybe one of the reasons why I sent it to him. You know, like, F you, man. Like, I was so tired of drinking and so tired of turning to alcohol, you know, and here I am like, oh, I feel sad. I feel bad. Why? It's because of him. and he's never there, and he never had to experience any of this. He never had to pick me up from the hospital.